All right, thank you so much for being here with us today. Thanks to the guys for coming out. So we wrote a book called Can't Be Faded, 20 Years in the New Orleans Brass Band Game. People can hear me now? Okay, the mic is kicked on. All right, so we wrote a book called Can't Be Faded, 20 Years in the New Orleans Brass Band Game. Came out in 2020, worked on it for about 5 years. I wanted to kind of introduce each of the band members of the Stooges Brass Band who are up here with me. To your left is Alfred Growe III. Al is a graduate of Southern University, a day two, human jukebox, a day two member of the Stooges Brass Band. Was traveling down here, consistently in his early days to play with the Stooges, and is just one of my favorite people. I truly love you, Al.
You're right.
Al kind of is one of the people who really guided the book along. From the beginning, the person who pushed me to work on it. A lot of calls and texts.
When he wanted to go out, I told him no. You got to focus.
You got to sit down, get your butt in the seat,
focus.
work on it.
Focus.
And also personally, just shit. When I went through a breakup with my now wife, Al was somebody. Al was somebody who kind of talked me through a little bit of that too.
Yes, sir.
And so Al is somebody who for a lot of people in the brass band scene, I think it's Second Lines in general. He's somebody who people really rely on. As
Uncle.
Big Uncle Al. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of love, Al.
Yeah, you're right. Appreciate that.
And introduce you to folks.
Appreciate that.
To my left is Mike Jones. Leader of the Next Level Brass Band.
Mike Jones.
The Next Level Band. My bad. A member of the Stooges music group, plays keyboards. One of the truly someone who shares joy better than most folks I know. When we had the book release, you came and you're let's really turn up, let's enjoy ourselves. And you're somebody who's been consistently vulnerable throughout the book writing process. Never hesitating to really go there and talk about some real shit. And so I want to thank you, Mike, and introduce you to everyone.
Well, he opened it up for you, huh? If he can see it, does.
I can be myself now.
Well, look, Walt, the band leader of the Stooges. I mean, it is so incredibly challenging to organize. I'm talking 50 people, it's about 50 people at least, to be the point person for everybody, when stuff is going down. Walt is oftentimes the spokesperson of an entire community of brass band musicians, of the second line community, of the Stooges, so that is a very, very challenging thing to do. And you are someone also, I mean, you've been a big brother to me too, Walt, I mean, I could go on, but we'll.
It's all good. We leave it for okay.
Yeah.
No.
And then Drew, one of the most incredible trumpet players in the city. Really, in terms of someone who knows how to
Stop it.
who knows how to hone their craft. A producer and arranger, plays with the traditional. Plays with the original Tuxedo Jazz Band, as well as the New Orleans Jazz Orchestra, has, studied at Berkeley, just a brilliant trumpet player, a musical
genius.
I mean, I don't like to use the word genius, but really, I mean, if you're going to use it, I'll throw it your way, Drew.
I feel you on that.
For real, yeah. So that's just to kind of, to introduce everybody here a little bit.
And Kyle helped us wrote the book. He ain't nobody.
I did. So
yes.
Jumping into it,
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about, why a book? Why a book? What is the purpose of a book for a brass band? People can, make CDs all day long, go into the studio and that kind of thing. But what is the importance of a book? And what does a book kind of bring to the brass band scene?
Well, me? Well, it was something like a premonition. I had, we had made CDs, made songs, and I thought that, at that time, we wanted to do something different, just to document our history, and so that our kids can actually read and what went transpired in our history. So I called Walt, And I said, well, we make a lot of songs, we make a lot of music, we play second lines all the time or whatever. I said, well, what if we write a book? What if we put together and document some of this stuff? So he made a few phone calls, called his mentor. His mentor led us.
Matt Sakakini.
Matt. Led us to Carl, and Carl was a young man. Carl was what? He was in college?
I was doing my master's, but I mean, I was like 23. You know?
Yeah, he was young. He was young. And we started throwing things, ideas in the air, and we just came up with it. But I really wanted to do it because, you know, we don't have a chance. Sometimes you want to do things and you think of things, and then you say, and something happened, and you're like, we should have did this. We should have did that. And luckily, we actually was able to catch most, if not all, of our original members. A couple of them may have passed. A couple of them is in jail or whatever right now. But we was able to catch their viewpoints of what happened in our history. So it turned out pretty good.
Yeah. And can you give, and this might be a question maybe for Walt, can you give the audience just a bit of an idea of like the scope of y'all's career? I mean, the band was founded in '96. Y'all have toured everywhere. You've played with a lot of different artists. Just to give people like an idea of like what you've been able to do with brass band music.
Everything he said.
Come on, Walt. Don't do this to me.
Nah. We've been blessed. We've been blessed. We've really been blessed to have Andrew. Andrew kind of like the foundation of this. Because when we was young and we was starting this band and we wasn't that good, Andrew decided to, we was not good. We had a band practice, and another original member, he's sitting in the audience, Ellis Joseph. Raise your hand, please.
Yeah, Joe. Founding member.
So founding member. So it was me, Ellis, and another guy named Brian, and then Andrew came. So we was practicing, and we didn't know, we was just all playing in unison. And Andrew was like, man, we got to play in harmony. And I was like, I don't even know you. We're going to play it how we play it. And that's how we're going to do it. And Andrew decided right then and there was like, all right, let's learn all these skills. And he took us to NOCA to audition, to go to school for music. so it started with that. With that foundation, we was able to get it in NOCA, except for Ellis, because he went to St. Augustine High School.
Yeah, that time they didn't let
the purple people.
Go.
Yeah, we still go shots at schools.
Of course.
Yeah, they wasn't allowed to go to NOCA, so the guys who was in the band from St. Aug didn't get a chance to go to NOCA. But the Kennedy guys, we went to NOCA. And we learned music, and that was our foundation. So we wanted to learn how to play brass band music, but what we was learning was music, I can't even talk, I'm tired. Music all the way. So what that gave for us, Kyle, was an edge on brass band musicians, because we was skilled musicians at 16, 17, 18 years old. We could play with the best musicians in the world at that moment. So as our journey kept going in music, we started getting popular, and we started playing parades and doing different events. And then Andrew built a studio in his mama house in his bedroom, and then it was like what this is, Andrew? He was like, we need to start producing music. And then our career started changing a little bit more. We started producing music. And then we wasn't good at it, and then we got better. I'm just being honest. And we kept getting better at it. And as we started getting better at it, we was able to start producing music for some of the TV networks and different networks today that we still work with. So
ESPN, BET. I mean, you talk your shit, man. ESPN.
Try not to brag, you know.
Pop it.
All right. So look. So we was able to produce some of the theme songs for ESPN Network, 5 of them: College Game Day, Sports Center, what it was, it NCAA.
Mm-hmm.
We did all of them. You hear it on the TV. That's us. But it was kind of different because usually brass band musicians don't do these kind of things. So we was kind of like breaking the ice in everything brass band. We also took the brass band as a culture and structured it as a business. We were the first brass band to do that, to make sure, and that was the hardest thing we probably had to live through because we was picked on. It was like, because this how brass band work. You go play a gig, at the end of the gig, you get your money, and you go home. And for us, we was like, nah, man, well, how we gonna be able to buy a house? We gotta get paid in checks at the end of the week. So imagine being a little 19-year-old teenager telling grown men that's like 27, 30, 40, whatever the age is, that from now on, this is how y'all gonna structure y'all band. Not our band, but y'all band.
Yeah, you asking a lot for $2, man.
Y'all gonna get paid in a check. You put that money in the bank. So, nevertheless, we did it. We got it done with most of the brass bands. And so we structured brass band as a business, made sure everybody LLC their business and group bank accounts. And now it's better today. So that's all I have to say about it.
So where are some of the places that you? I'm going off script now. Where are some of the places that you've kind of traveled to, Walt? Like when I talk script, I also mean geographically.
I got it. We went to Mississippi. Now, when we were 16 years old, we was great musicians because we went to NOCA. And we started traveling. Me and Andrew was 16 years old, and I think our first trip overseas was Barcelona, Spain, Tarragona.
Wait.
Hold on, go.
It was Walt's first flight.
Oh, don't tell me.
Walt's first flight. And so he's like, yeah, bro.
Skip that.
So what
I want to hear this.
Now,
I don't know.
Like I said, now this was right after, if some of y'all remember, the TWA 800 flight. Right? And so, so he's like, man, I don't know. So he's like, well, what flight we taking? TWA 800. And so I'm not going. I'm not doing this. It's like, bro, look, you have a better chance of, struck by lightning, bro. Like, just trust it. And so, like, he just, so I got him in a place where he was actually just, he felt somewhat comfortable, even though, he was 8 hours of him just being awake and anxious and everything. But, it was a good thing. It was a good thing.
Okay, so that was the beginning. But y'all have traveled. Y'all have been
So
to.
yeah, since then we've been on airplanes a lot. We have a story too. We have one we almost didn't make it, but we're gonna talk about that. So we've been everywhere. I like to tell people we've been most places except for the moon. But as musicians, we have traveled. We have been most of the countries out here. We're a U.S. ambassador in music for America. So when they decide to do different things, they like to send us. So with that being said, we've been to Pakistan, Tajikistan, all the stands. They decide to throw us in Russia, the whole country, and y'all just keep going around it. Real serious, I'm not lying. Real talk. Yeah, we tour a lot of places on y'all tax money.
That's the important thing to note, right?
Yeah. So thank you.
So with all that, that's cold. With all that traveling though, it's really challenging to to have a family life and balancing that. Like I was just talking to you about this a little bit beforehand, Mike.
You will say that with my family sitting right here.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying,
and my family sitting right there.
I'm just saying, you know how to do it.
You want to do
it.
You really want to go?
I'm just saying, it is challenging,
Yeah,
and
it is.
especially because the hours that you have to work are they're kind of eccentric musician hours.
Well, watch this.
Late at night.
Watch
right?
this. Let me teach you something.
Okay,
Kyle.
please
teach
do
you
this,
a story.
Uncle
Right?
Al.
I'm a bounce off of what you said. Hey, it takes a strong woman
Yeah.
to be able to take care of.
That's exactly
That's
right.
good.
It takes a strong woman. It takes a strong woman to be able to take care of your family while you're gone.
Sean
man.
Goffner Growe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
You
Al.
feel that? You feel that?
Save us.
Feel that?
But
Yeah.
but also, and just I mean, in being there, it's like you're working like
It's tough.
It's 9 to 5, and then at night, right? You have to hit gigs and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's tough.
It's not an easy schedule. It's not. It take a lot of endurance to do what we do, especially living life on the road. That is hard. That is hard. You prepare your whole life to be like, man, I want to be that musician, and I want to travel, and I want to go here, and I want to go there. But what you don't realize is that you don't sleep. Yeah. You got to go there. You got to get up. You got to go play. You got to go back home. You got to get on an airplane. You got to fly here. You got to do this. You got to drive. We recently just drove through a snowstorm last week, coming from Aspen, Colorado, and that was dangerous. So it's a lot that takes on the road, and I don't understand with this band. We always find the danger. I can never like figure that out. From every time we travel, we've been together 28 years. We've been traveling a long time. I remember one time, it was a hurricane coming to New Orleans. A hurricane just coming to the east coast of America, and all the cars was going one way in traffic, and we was the only car on the opposite side going the opposite way to go play a gig. And I was thinking, as we riding in that truck, I'm saying to myself, like, something wrong with us. Something is really wrong with us. Like, we made it. We always use the expression, did you die?
That's right.
We
made it.
Did you die?
Apparently.
But we've been through a lot of, like, we're traveling in this band. We've been through it's not every time, but most of the time we travel, we go through some difficult obstacles. Like, for real. A few years ago, weather. So let's talk about this. Right. We was in Nice, France, and we was on the Strip, and we was just finished swimming in the pool at our hotel, and it was like, we're going back on the Strip, we're gonna have fun. And I say I'm hungry, and I decided to say, let's stop in this pizza place. And
Pizza saved our life.
As we stopped in the pizza place, what it was, like a box truck full of different guys with all kind of machine guns shot up the whole Strip. They shot 26 people, killed 85. And pizza saved us. Yeah. Like, that was the weirdest thing. Yeah. Like, so when I say we're traveling, we've been through a lot. A couple of years ago, we decided to take a flight to New York to go play at a venue called the Brooklyn Bowl. She never missed a Stooges Brooklyn Bowl show, ever. So this particular day, they banned all flights, except for ours. They let us fly. We the only flight. Yeah. We go through a snowstorm. Yeah. The engines go dead, and the plane just dropped. And no. What happened where we got scared?
The pilot we are making our final descent into JF. Oh shit. Oh shit. And it was like the end. We was like praying and everything. Through the speakers, that's what came through shit.
Yeah. Right then and there, we knew something. We were just not good. But God saved us. Yeah,
and at the end of the day, when you do what you love, there is no obstacle in your way from doing it. And I think that's a thing that we all kind of need to live by, because we're just, a lot of times we'll make the sacrifice for, of doing what we love to do, or being in the midst of the people that we like to be around, in order just to make a buck or try to do something else, and something like that. And then you live to be an old age, and you're sitting there like, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have done this. So I don't take any of that for granted. I don't, it's just like, once you have that love, once you find that thing that you love, like everything else is just a story now. You know what I'm saying? It's a storybook, something that you can put in the memoir book, in the book, and, let everybody else kind of live vicariously through you.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that's what our book about.
Oh yeah, and just to mention one more thing. My first Stooges gig, I've been in the band about 12, 13 years. That guy in the back, his name is Ace. He's a Stooges member.
Come on,
He hit a deer. He hit a deer on the road. My first
Ace
Stooges
Free.
trip. So yeah, it's,
he started off good, then he said you hit a deer. That's cool.
we was on our way back home from Brooklyn to New Orleans, and I think somewhere in Atlanta, he hit a deer on the road, and he did not. We did.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
man,
Listen,
what
the
a
one
moderating
thing.
job
Hold
I
on,
have to do
I
here.
got you.
What-
Listen, the one thing,
Go for
the
it.
one thing about this band is we promote fun. This band is fun. That's why we call it Stooges. From day one, we always been fun, funny. We gonna have a great time. No matter what we do, we gonna have a great time. And the second thing is the music, and the third thing is the money. But the first thing for us is all about fun. That's why we do this. We have fun with what we do, you know. So we laughing and joking about these stories. They're real, but they're not fun going through it. It's fun. It's fun after you
it's
live
done,
through it. You can talk about it. Yeah, yeah. Because last week we was going through that snowstorm, and oh my God, it was tough. It was tough, and I wasn't listening to them. They was all fussing and yelling. It was like, so pull over. I was like, man, we pull over, we're gonna be buried in this snow. I'ma just keep driving. And I mean, it's the slowest drive I ever drove in my life. So, and we made it. We drove from Aspen to Denver, which is a 3-hour
You might
ride.
as well rip that paper up, Kyle.
And,
Mike,
well, we
Mike,
made
he
it
don't have
probably about
nothing.
6
He don't
hours.
have nothing on the
All right, you
paper.
got it, Kyle. You got it, Kyle.
He don't have nothing.
So let's all right. So let's dive back. Let's talk
Yes.
about second lines a little bit.
All right, cool.
Okay. Let's back up to the band's history. And I mean, what is it like to be out there every Sunday playing at a second line when you got people incarcerated? You know, when you have like Peanut, for example, is detained in Bermuda right now. Walter's cousin. One of the, he's played with the Stooges many times, founding member of the Big Six brass band. Rolo, there's a lot of people. Glenn currently,
Rolling home.
yeah, I know, just
good,
as of
all
like
right,
2 days
all
ago.
right.
Yeah.
But like,
Good,
I
good.
mean, I want us to kind of talk about that, like what it means to practice freedom in the streets every Sunday in the context of a constrained emancipation. When we're thinking about incarceration, when we're thinking about the period of mass incarceration, especially, like we're talking about danger and we're laughing about that stuff, you know. But also when we're thinking about the police, when we're thinking, Shotgun Joe Williams,
When we actually plan parades in the street, we kind of not really thinking about that. When we out there, like for the 4 hours we out there, man, we out there to really just do a job and make people happy and actually be the radio for the street for a good 4 hours, a good 12, 13 miles, something like that. And it comes down in our history and is a part of our culture. So we just inherited it, we studied it, and we mastered it. And what we do is, like I said, we take a group of people, we start playing, and we carry them. And how we do it, we actually look at the people, and we want to make sure that everyone out there is smiling and dancing. If we see 1 or 2 people that's not really dancing or smiling, we're not doing our job. Yeah. And we play it in quarters, like a football game. It's 4 hours, so we have 4 quarters. So we have certain songs dedicated to each quarter. Yeah. So say for instance, they were stuck in a snowstorm. So we had to actually do a second line without Walter and Ace. But the structure that we have, we can actually plug and play different musicians, and the structure that we have, our musical selection goes a certain way. So when he pulled up, by the time he pulled up, I said, man, it's the third quarter. It's the third quarter. It's time for you to figure this out. It's like it's almost like
quarter 4 times to me. I was like,
yeah, it's the third quarter. Because what happens is when we at the second line, we bouncing ideas. Like the rest of the band is playing the music, but me and him is actually, while they playing, we're thinking about what the next song is, what the next groove is, what the next thing. So we bounce each other, bounce information between me and him. This time he wasn't there, So now I have to bounce all of this stuff. I have one guy next to me saying, man, why we playing this? Why we playing that? Then I had the other guy, what groove we on? Where we at? So I'm bouncing all of this. I got the crowd looking. So I'm trying to think about everything. So once he got there, I was like, hey, man, it's your job. No, hey, Tom Brady,
did what I need to do.
Manning, I'm done. So figure it out, third quarter. You know what I'm saying? So, but
75 cents.
yeah,
Third quarter.
it works because we've been doing it so long, and it pleases the people. So
Yeah.
you know.
Well, and I was married to say, I think the second line in general is the getaway from all of the troubles and the tales of the world.
Right,
And so it's
right,
like,
right.
that's what we represent. And because we represent that, is that, you know, we have to just make sure that, like, we are playing the music that literally, you know, gets rid of, just for 4 hours, for 4 hours.
Right.
Just to gets rid of all of the stuff, like, you know, like how it's kind of like the same thing that we have with sports.
Right.
You know, it's like for 3 hours, I don't have to worry about anything because the Saints game is on. You
Right.
know, so that's where
because
that, you know, that's just what it is. And in life, we need all that. We need that. We need that just that separation, just for a little while. We don't have to do it.
Give you
Yeah.
a heart attack.
I mean,
boy.
yeah, Saints gonna give you a heart attack, but
right.
you know, but you know, and so and we realize that, you know, that's what we represent in the culture.
Right.
So for us, it was all about, okay, what is the music that gets the people dancing? What is that? You know, what does that look like? What does that represent? And then, you know, when we've fallen on our face, you know, because nobody's dancing and just they looking at us. You know,
Right.
it's like, okay, we got to rethink this. All right, cool. You know, so I think that even with all of the stuff that's going on in life, it's like I've always looked at it as there's always some other people who got something worse.
Way worse. Right.
And you can be the catalyst for them to, you know, to become, or just to be just a little bit happier than what you were before.
And it creates memories also, Carl. Like, say, for instance, like you were saying about people getting incarcerated, pass away, or whatever. For that in particular time, for that band that's going out there, we created a memory for that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That we may not see again. You know, life is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. So when we go out there, we create that memory, and then once it's over, it's over.
I mean, in a way, it's like, I mean, we put music history on a page, but
Right.
you're putting history out there in the streets with sound.
Yeah.
You know, like you are commemorating the people who you know deserve to be commemorated and
Yep.
loved out there
Right.
in the streets, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you want to say something about that, Walt?
No.
Yeah, he about to make us
They-
cry
they
up
did
here.
it.
Come on.
Listen. Go get our book. Read our book.
Yeah.
Check it out. Listen.
You want to be entertained. Yes.
They have some real great stories. Is the way this book was written by Kyle is through interviews through different band members. And so this band member might have this perspective, this band member might have that perspective. It might be the same story and things happen. And then we didn't know until we read the book. It was like,
Right.
hold up.
That's how that went happen?
Hold up.
That's how you
And
feel?
He said that?
Yeah.
That's how you feel?
And I mean,
Oh, no. Oh,
You ain't
no.
let me get a chance to say something back to that?
That's how you feel?
What?
That's why we got to do a part two.
So nah, it's a good read. It's a good story about our lives. Is maybe like 30-some band members and they take on when they enter the band and if they're still in a band or transition to their own bands and how we work as a brotherhood. That's one of the things about the Stooges that's very important to us. Now we wasn't trying to create this, but we the only band that have this. So members of our band become like alumni, like we're an institution, and it's celebrated like that. And it's sad because I realize some people that wasn't in our band should be a part of that because they feel left out. And I can see some of the tensions that be happening on some of the social media pages when you talk about the Stooges.
Right.
And some people who never was in the Stooges that, you know, it bothers them. We should open up the doors again, y'all.
And another thing this book did, when I first came with the idea of writing the book, thinking about the book, I started calling different band members. And Aaron Macklin, he was one of the founders of the Stooges. He actually had Stoogie? Big Stoogies. He spelled Stooges wrong, but he had it. he had it tattooed on his arm. So
I think that was on purpose.
yeah,
I didn't know that either.
And it's him.
I think
only
he had
two
an
band
aura on
members
him.
have it.
Him and
Everybody got
Ursel.
tattoos. Him and herself.
Yeah.
Ursel,
But then, so when I called him and I told him, he was like, "Oh man, I've been wanting to document some of the things I did and some of the things that happened to me in my life." And so he started. So what Kyle did is he'll come up on us no matter we at work, gig, whatever, and he'll start recording. And while he's recording, you're really not thinking about, like, he'll ask you a question and then you start, talking or whatever, and you're not really thinking about what's going on or whatever. You're just talking. So we meet up with Kyle in New York one time. He gave us this big old manual of a stack of things that people were saying in these recordings.
It's like it was all the interview.
So we start skipping through some of the stuff and reading some of the stuff. I'm like, hold up, Kyle. Wait a minute. This can't go in there. This definitely can't go in there. This is gonna start World War III. In New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? This one messing with this one and this one girlfriend and that. Oh no, we not. This not that type
They
of
felt
book.
the need to say that in
So I say that to say Aaron started really getting into it, and me not knowing when it came to me, I felt like it was God coming to me saying that it needed to be done right then and there, get it done. So when Aaron started getting into it and talking and doing his thing, Aaron was real sickly. Right? Aaron had a lot of illnesses and issues, right? So Aaron started getting into the recording and everything. As we completed the book, Aaron passed. So we were able to capture his story, something that he wanted to do, because he comes from the Lashley family, a great musical family.
That's my family, by the way.
So we were able to capture that. So now that he's gone, his kids, grandkids, and everyone else will be able to actually pick up that book and read it and see what kind of how great grandfather he was and a great musician he was and a great man he was. So I say that to say, we did this book not just for us and our history. We did it for our family, and we did it for New Orleans culture. Because if you go in the bookstores right now, you see those old-timey 1940, 1920 documentaries of what brass band and the culture is now, and it's not like that now. It's different. So we wanted to document, and we wanted other people to see the way we making moves and make moves like us.
And it takes a real recognition that your story is important.
Yeah,
and you have to know,
right.
You have to know that.
Right, right.
And so y'all, you were really the person who pushed it along.
Hey,
so
it wasn't
much,
me,
Al.
man. It was God.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Yeah, Al.
I was just a vessel. I was just a vessel, man. It came to me. And I said, I'm just a vessel. That's it.
Yeah, he called me up with that. He was like, man, we should write a book. And I was like, Alfred, we play music.
Hey, man,
He was
listen.
like, nah, man, we should write a book. None of us writers.
Nah.
How you?
And in the Bible, that's how it's done.
He said, it's your job to figure it out.
Figure it out. Let's figure it out and make it work. It took a long time. I'm telling you, he was trying to graduate. I was like, man, what's going on with the book? Al, I'm trying to study. Hey, man,
That also caused some problems with Columbia, let me tell you. But
hey, man, we need to get it done.
Yeah, so we do have some time for questions. We can open it up to the audience for Q&A. There's a microphone right there. Otherwise, take a few questions.
Y'all gotta have
and then we can
questions.
maybe play a tune or two. Well, not me, but
Y'all have to have questions. Let's go.
First of all, I'm so glad that you guys took the time to write a book, to retain the culture, to retain the history, not only for your families, but for our city. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Appreciate it.
One of the things I'm curious about, how do we retain our sound and our culture? Nothing is more frustrating than going to even Baton Rouge or New York, and they're doing their rendition of a second line band. And either they're dragging the sound or it just sounds totally different. And so I think being able to retain your sound as a part of our history is extremely important. So I know there's a succession process for this. And so if you could talk a little bit about that, that would be great.
Great question. Thank you, A.T. I love you.
By the way, she'll sing it to y'all.
she can ask you this anytime.
So, I think, So it's pros and cons with that. I think you can't duplicate something that's so authentic and that's so real and that's so much a part of the culture as brass band music. And they do have a lot of bands, a lot of musicians from out of town that come in and try to learn the music. I just encourage them to come learn it and come do it the right way, because they do have a lot of guys that do come in town from across the country, from cross seas, and they come do it the right way. They come around the real musicians. They come to the second line. They come to the ones that's really have wisdom in the culture. And it's just about just doing it the right way. A lot of people see YouTube and think they go just watch YouTube videos, and that's
Right.
not. Nah,
Right.
you gotta come get your feet. You gotta come get your feet on the ground. Come put your feet on the ground and come experience. Come see what we go through on a daily. They got these guys that came from cross seas last summer, man. These guys, from the beginning of their trip here to the end, you heard a different sound from them, and they brought this sound back to the band back home, and they sound real good. I mean, it doesn't sound like us, of course, but you know, it's about doing it the right way. You know, some people, you can't just copy it. You got to really come down there and feel it. Come walk these streets. Come talk to these people and really figure out what's going on down there before you know, just do that.
Right. And another thing, with Katrina happening, it separated a whole lot of us. So there's a lot of active musicians in other places, like, say, for instance, the Hustlers Brass Band in Houston. They're actually from New Orleans. The guy, one of the guys was on the sound, from the Soul Rebels. He's one of the founding members of the Soul Rebels. So they created a band out there. There's a band in Dallas. Matter of fact, Yogi, he comes from the Stooges Brass Band. So they created a band. And we have another one. I don't know if you knew Frank played with the Dallas band out there also. So it actually is migrating out a little bit. And it has some other bands that been coming to New Orleans for years and years and learning up under us. And they're doing their thing in different places. So it's a growth process.
It's good and bad.
Yeah, it's good and bad.
Some of them ain't gonna get it. Some of them might get it.
Right.
And some of them just, we can't do nothing about it though. That's the problem.
Right.
Right.
Well, I think at the end of the day, the culture itself is dying.
Yeah.
So, you know, and part of it is just that, and well, here's the thing. People want to blame, you know, the imports, the people that come here and, you know, they don't want to assimilate into the culture. They want to create their own culture.
Right.
And, you know, but it's not really that. It's just kind of like we are the purveyors of the culture. And so if not us, who?
Right.
If we don't do it, it falls. It fails, it dies. So when we talk about of that, you know, we really, it's really ingrained in the culture. Like the Stooges Brass Band was actually embedded and cut their teeth in the culture.
Right.
You know, the culture of people calling you up and, you know, you're doing, 10 gigs on a Saturday. Right. You know, I was doing 10 gigs on a Saturday because, you know, they got the 1-year-old birthday party that go on at 2 o'clock, and then you got the first wedding at 3 o'clock, and then you got at 4 o'clock. And the whole point of you doing this was we have in every event that we're doing, we have the culture. And so when that starts to deteriorate, that's when you have this dilemma. So, you know, it's really a thing of the New Orleanians, the born and raised, authentic New Orleanians, you know, just need to just take a moment and recognize the culture,
Right.
and be a part of the culture. I think that's the only thing to do.
So we got one more question, and
Thank
we'll do
you.
it. Yeah, really quickly. But can we just get ready to play a few songs?
Yeah, yeah, we
like
got
kind
you.
of simultaneously, and
Come
we'll
on,
take the
do
question.
I'm
And
sorry.
we had a question
You
too.
said that the culture is dying.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to know, what are you guys doing to preserve it? Are you going to school? Are you teaching what you have before I die?
Yeah.
I think it starts with accountability with us as the culture leaders. I think personally, the Stooges, we try our best to pass the culture on the right way and do it the right way. With every culture, they have its goods and they have its bads. They have its ups and they have its downs. Everything that's in the culture isn't really, I would say, it's for the culture, if you get what I'm saying. But I think it's about just teaching the right method and keeping those principles of what these guys were taught. And I think if we keep passing that down, I think that's what's going to keep the culture going.
And
keep
real
it
quick,
alive.
another real quick nugget.
Sure.
Andrew Baham,
Ask your question.
actually, the one, Andrew on the end, he actually teaches students.
Yes,
And-
he teach. He still pass the culture down.
And
Yeah.
also, he's not gonna toot his own horn, but I'm gonna toot it for him. Also, Mr. Walter Ramsey is building a studio uptown, so that our younger kids can come in and record this stuff. So that our main goal is to try to get these young kids to be able to perform, record, and get their music on the radio.
Yeah.
So once we can get them on the radio and get these, it'll make us. Because think about it, you hear the same music on the radio all the time. Why can't in New Orleans you hear New Orleans brass band music? That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's a big problem in New Orleans. And if we don't stand up for it, we're going to all die, and our music just going to sit there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We got Grammy-nominated bands. We got Grammy Award-winning bands
Right.
here right in New Orleans. And you'll never know because the only time they play us is Mardi Gras.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So outside of that, New Orleans itself should be playing music on the radio. Q93 FM. I'm gonna call them out now because they're not hearing me. You know what I'm saying? Q93, FM 98, and whoever else have a radio syndicated or podcast, well, they should be playing our music. Just like they ask us to come down there and perform for them when they're running for mayor and when they and when they you know
All their political things.
when they need they parties closed out with the syndicates and all of that. Come down and play our music on the radio so these kids can hear our music and hear their dads and uncles and cousins and stuff, what they're doing. So that's going to encourage our kids to go in the studio and record, and it becomes a thing, you know what I'm saying? So that's the platform we on.
Right. And real quick, we would like to thank y'all for coming and check this out because this is very important. And it was wonderful. This is my first book fest ever. Yeah. And also, we have a lot of Stooges fans and family in the building. Like we got the Camel Toe ladies. They've been supporting us for 20 years, giving us their hard-earned money.
Yes, indeed.
And we have no problem taking it.
Yes.
But
She that giveth, I shall take it. Yes.
Nah, and different people, like we really appreciate it, like really do. Thank y'all for coming out. Weezy supporting us for so many years. I know you didn't get your question in, but we can talk. You got our number.
Hit it, guys.
Yeah.
Let's hit it.
Yeah, let's do
That's it.
something.
All right.
I don't-
We are the Stooges.